Your knitting's about to start going a lot faster. If you followed the instructions for the raglan increases and you are now at a point where you want to separate the sleeves, you're going to take so many stitches off the needles right now, the body is going to just breeze through. Let me show you what we're talking about. Okay, you have knit now up to this point, and your rounds or your rows have been this long the whole time, all the stitches in the whole sweater. We're going to put the sleeves on scrap yarn so that you can just finish knitting the body. Okay, that's the overview. Let's see it in action on this piece I have here. This is a curly mess compared to that nice blocked out sweater, isn't it? Okay, hopefully you can get the idea. This is the neckline up here, and here are my raglan increases and my little stitch markers. And we're going to now follow the instructions to separate the sleeves. First thing I want to do is to knit up to the first marker. This is the way it works for just about every top-down raglan pattern. So these techniques are the same, but things are a little different from pattern to pattern when it comes to the number of stitches you cast on for the underarm and the kind of raglan increases you do, etc., etc. But the basics are the same. So I'm knitting up to this first marker. And I'm going to take out the marker and get a piece of scrap yarn. And this is a huge ball of leftover sock yarn. And leftover sock yarn, I think, is the greatest scrap yarn because it's smooth and it's fine. And it works really well for things like this. So I thread a length of leftover sock yarn onto this tapestry needle. And now I'm going to slide all the sleeve stitches onto this piece of scrap yarn. And you always transfer as if to purl. And what I mean by that is you're going to put your tapestry needle in as if you're purling, like that. Just keep sliding them all over. Okay, see how much faster your rows are going to go now without that many stitches on there? Take out the second marker. And usually what I'll do is I'll take the two ends. I have a lot of extra yarn here. I don't need this much extra yarn. But I will tie a little knot in my scrap yarn. Just to be sure. I mean, I don't think this yarn would wiggle out of these stitches, but there is always a chance that while I'm grabbing something else, a needle or yarn, that I might pull on that and, oh, I wouldn't want to pick up those stitches again. So here's our working yarn back over here at the beginning of the sleeve. I need to cast on 3 stitches under the arm. And to do that, I need to use the backwards loop cast on method, which is like this. It's just a little backwards loop on the needle. That's it, 3 of those, and then continue knitting the back stitches like normal. And we're going to do the same thing when we get over to the second sleeve. I will remove the marker, take another piece of scrap yarn, thread all these stitches onto that piece of scrap yarn, remove the second marker, use the backwards loop method to cast on 3 stitches, and then finish knitting the front. And my sleeve stitches, this is still such a curly mess, I hope you can see this okay. My sleeve stitches are just going to hang out here unfinished on this piece of scrap yarn until I come back to them and work them with double pointed needles when the rest of the sweater is finished. So that's the separating sleeves row. When we come back, we're going to look at how to do the Fair Isle and Tarsia, whatever you want to call it, the vertical striping in the sweater.